Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Shingeki no Kyojin, chapter 99, apparently. Next month is going to be chapter 100, which is going to have a celebration for what I read at the end of this chapter. But aside from that, this chapter was actually pretty cool. And a little simple in a way, but with me recapping it, it's going to be very long. So hopefully you guys just read the chapter beforehand before I might even talk about it. So if anything else, let's begin. We have a flashback involving Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner, and Bertolt did talk about the man who hanged himself, apparently, that happened many chapters ago, which involved Reiner's flashbacks or backstory, that this man who hanged himself, when he had a dream about him, it felt like that old man wanted to be judged by someone, or someone passing judgment on him. That's how the chapter opened up. And it goes back to present day with Reiner looking at Eren right now. And Falco explains, I heard that you guys were friends, so I decided to bring him here. Ain't that right, Mr. Kruger? And therefore, Eren thanks Falco for bringing him over. And therefore, Eren tells Reiner that we have a lot to catch up on, but I don't even know where to start. And Reiner, therefore, is speaking I don't know how you got in, but this is, impossible. And therefore, Kruger, or Eren, tells Reiner to have a seat. He even tells him that they're going to begin the presentation very soon. And he also mentions that there's a normal residence building with a lot of good people here. There's so many good people ready to give rise to the curtain. And he even shows injury on his hand to Reiner, warning him, don't even try doing anything stupid or I'm blasting myself as a Titan and killing everybody here. It's not said or what Eren said, but he's pretty much indirectly telling him, you know I'm a Titan, right? I hope you haven't forgotten about that. I'm ready to blow up as a Titan right now till I can kill all these people around here if you don't listen to me. And we have to it that Reiner has no choice but to listen to what Eren has to say. And Falco, feeling a little pressured right now, says, maybe I'll take my leave right here. But Eren's like, no, Falco, I want you to stay here and listen as well. But apparently, we have to it that Reiner did tell Falco, do as the man says right now. I'm not playing. And we see to it that Tabar is about to get ready to make his presentation and gets a meeting from someone from the Azumabito household. And apparently she tells him good luck with your presentation and play whatsoever and wish you the best. And then by that time, she ends up saying it's time we leave, apparently. So we don't really know who this person is, but it looks like to me she's planning something. And we see to it that Reiner's mother ends up greeting Mr. Leonhardt, which is Annie's father. And we get to see him for the first time after how many years passed by and how many chapters it took to even see his real face, etc. It was pretty long, etc. Aside from that, we have to it that that these two talk to each other about honorary Marleyans, etc. But we also see to it that Mr. Hoover, which is actually Bertolt's father, passed away apparently. He's been sick for some time, and the last moment he passed out peacefully, saying that his son, on the other hand, has been a good honorary Marleyan who sacrificed himself for Marley. And then by a time, Mr. Leonhardt, on the other hand, believes Annie is still alive, and she promised to come back. And we do know the fact that she's not dead. And she's not dead, obviously. Not dead at all. She was just, last time if we remember, a long time ago, those of you guys even watched the anime or even read the manga would know that she froze herself up. Who knows if she's still in that chrysalis whatsoever. But aside from that, we have to it that a lot of these people are gathering up for the play or the history lesson, possibly by Tabar himself. And we have to it that all the Eldians and Marleyan generals, etc. are here. And everyone is about to listen to what the Willie Tabar is about to say. And we see to it that one soldier calls for Marley's warriors to say that Captain Margeth is calling for you. And we have to it that Falco says it's starting. Of course, this switches back to Eren, Reiner, and Falco. And therefore, Reiner asks and reluctant because he's already pressured enough to know that Eren's already threatening him many pages ago. We have to it that Reiner asks, "How'd you get in here?" And Eren's like, "That's the first thing you ask me?" And Reiner's like, "What are you planning to do, huh?" And Eren's like, "The same as you." And then Reiner's like, "Why, of all things?" And Eren's like, "Why? You're trying to ask me why? You don't get it? The same as you. It's something you could even call inevitable, etc." And right now, Reiner was about to say something, but Eren's like, "Hold on. Looks like the curtains rose. Let's listen to what this guy has to say." We have to it that Tabar talks about a tale of the Eldian Empire, and it took over, and it was known to be a Titan power that took over many people a long time ago. Ever since then, it's always been like some kind of chaos and disasters ever since the power of the Titans came into hand. And Tabar continues to talk about the history of the Eldians and the Titans apparently, along with the history that's shared by humanity and the Eldians. Of course, when the enemies were defeated, the Eldian Empire started to grow, but apparently this started something called the Great Titan War, apparently. And from here on out, there was one man who actually kind of changed the situation, despite the great 8 houses here and there of the Titans, etc., that used this kind of information, and somehow the Eldian Empire ends up killing each other. This man is named as Heros, however you want to pronounce his name. Together with that man and the Tabar family, they managed to chase off the King Fritz to a freaking island that's a faraway island apparently. Of course, however, even though the king retreated, he ends up having some kind of quite a formidable power. On the island that he was cast off apparently, which is the history of how things started, it seems like to me he still had power of the Titans that's still powerful, rampant around the entire world. Not to mention, not to erase the threat of Marley, a Titan shifters, everything that's been happening. And even now, he ends up talking about 4 years that we have sent 32 scout ships surrounding the island, but all of a sudden the ships disappear without a trace, which means that the evil empire of Eldia lives on to this day. And Eren, on the other hand, tells Reiner, "So, that's the reason why you destroyed the wall, right?" And Eren's bringing up of Reiner's mission when he was told to become Arnold Marlian, a warrior. And we have to it that Eren's like, "You're just trying to save the world and you see us as enemies. Is that it?" And therefore Eren was asking these questions and says, "You guys were clueless little kids who were dumped on that island and knew nothing at all." And we have to it that some people were actually watching the play apparently and seeing that there's nothing bad happening apparently. I think when it came to halftime of the play, we had to it that Mr. Yeager was told to move at the main gate, and the 2 people, which is Porco and the quadruple Titan whatsoever, and apparently the quadruple Titan shifter says, "Hey, it looks like I know you somewhere," and he brushes it off and says, "I don't need to answer your questions from alien garbage, okay?" And she goes "Well, that's a shame. That's a lowly gloating spouting you got there." Of course, we have to it that many people are greeting the 2 Marlian warriors, which is Porco and I think Piek. Yeah, I think that's Piek. And we see to it that they have some kind of situation to play apparently, but apparently this person led them to a trap. The person who says that Captain Margeth wants to see you, he ends up leading them to a trap hole and had Piet and Porco, apparently the one with the freaking mouth titan whatsoever and the quadruple titan, fall down through a trap hole. So Pretty much, Pieck and Porco were led to a trap and fell through a hole, apparently. Those two are bound to get out eventually, though. Who knows? But that's if they want to get out. Even Falco himself doesn't understand why Reiner's so afraid. All of a sudden, he realizes that when he's piecing things together, he realizes that Eren must be the enemy. Even Reiner's like, and Falco remembers that Reiner tells to Eren like impossible, and Falco realizes that Eren is the enemy. We have to it that Tabar continues to make a speech about the history of the Eldian Titans, apparently, and ends up talking about the Tabar family having the Warhammer Titan. And this truth is publicly revealed today for the first time in history, as Tabar continues his speech about the Great Titan War that happened like 100 years ago. The one to end the Great Titan War was not Heros or the Tabar family. It was someone else entirely, and it was King Fritz who ended that war. In many years to come, Tabar ends up talking about how King Fritz grew insistent to struggle between his own people and the felt agreed pain and sorrow of their oppression towards the Marleyans. Eventually, once he acquired the original power of the Titan, he conspired with the Tabar family and made a sacrifice in order to put an end to the bloody history of the alien empire itself. As Tabar continues his history lesson, he ends up talking about King Fritz having to have a Tabar family play a certain role to play. And eventually, King Fritz, by his own choice, moved his Eldians to Paradise Islands and closed the gates on the walls. And then he left behind some kind of symbol whatsoever, or possibly a successor to pursue his ideals, to renounce all of war, of a royal bloodline, original Titan that controls all Titans, etc. And this oath or ideal that he's talking about is to renounce war or stop war. Eventually, we have to it that no Titan from Paradise Island ever attacked that day. But apparently, after King Fritz vanished from this world, he had one goal in common, and that goal was peace around the world. However, ever since then, when it comes to the original Titan, etc., here and there, it seems like Tabar continues his speech and the release of the Marley from their oppression all along. If the future of Marley shall rise in power and tries to take away the power of the royal family, the original Titan, I will accept it. And we had to it that Tabar makes a speech if Marley truly wishes to destroy all Eldians, then fine, I will accept that. And he ends up saying how the Eldians have committed a sin so horrible that can never be atoned for. Titans, they should never exist in the first place. Eldians, everything. And when it comes to certain retribution, they end up having to have some kind of safe and peaceful haven. But I now ask you from the small gesture that the message King Fritz left behind, etc. Apparently, King Fritz left a message behind to want to have peace, apparently. Even the Eldians are trying to wonder, whoa, wait a minute. If this was true, then King Fritz was the one who sent the table for Marley and Tabar's move to save the world. Right now, everyone is being in somewhat of a chaotic situation right now because of what's going on here. We see to it that Tabar continues his history lesson about in the recent years, a revolt took place in Paradise Island, resulting in the destruction of King Fritz's peace ideology. The original Titan's power was stolen by a certain individual, and the world is more in grave danger right now. There is a man who wishes to strike back at the peaceful world King Fritz has created for us all. And therefore, he makes an announcement that this person who has the original Titan's power is Eren Yeager, and he's a traitor to everybody. So, and it ends off with Eren Yeager possibly getting ready to fight right now, despite him being injured. And Falco himself right now can't really do anything but maybe stand down, stay and watch. So overall, in this chapter right now, in a certain summary right now, even though you may be confused for the time being of my recapping, is that Reiner ends up meeting Eren, and Eren tells him to sit down and listen to him, and he did warn Reiner don't try anything stupid or I transform into a Titan and kill everyone that's above us right now. And of course, Falco realizes that, like, when he pieced everything all together, he realizes that this is not going to go so well. And when it comes to, like, Tabar doing his presentation and getting a visit from the Azumabito household, we have to it that she shakes his hand and ends up leaving, apparently. So it looks like she might have a role to play eventually, but who knows. Not to mention, we get to see Annie's father and Bertolt and how am I supposed to say? A mentioning of Bertolt's father, which he's already dead on. He's already dead. So throughout this chapter, of course, like Eren, on the other hand, answers certain questions from Reiner and says, "Why are you here?" And Eren's like, the same thing as what you be doing, right? And of course, like there is a history about like Tabar talking about a history about the Eldian Empire and the Great Titan War, Titans, etc., and King Fritz alone. It looks like to me, King Fritz, from what Tabar is saying, is that his true ideology and what he's been living up to was peace. And of course, like when it comes to Poco and Piek, who apparently are Marleyan warriors who have the Titan shifting powers, they were sent to a trap hole, etc. You guys know what happened. Yeah. Of course, like, when Falco realizes that Eren Kruger, or Eren Yeager, if anything, he is actually the enemy that Falco has been bonding with for a very long time. So, it looks like to me, things are about to get really hectic now. Not to mention, after talking about the history of the Titans and King Fritz ideology, Tabar says that Eren Yeager is known to be the enemy right now, and he actually has the original Titans power, apparently. So in this chapter right here, what happened is that that Eren and Reiner has a talk while Tabar continues his play or speech and talking about the history of the Titans and Eldians all together, and says Eren Yeager is now the key to all this, and we must stop him since he's a traitor to all of us, etc. So it looks like to me things are about to get really hectic now, because like Eren, and it looks like his other comrades who are on the island, apparently, I'm pretty sure they're on the island, it'll be ridiculous if they aren't, are making their moves right now and starting to like cause a ruckus eventually, and about to maybe blow things up at this time. Who knows? But one thing sure, it's not going to be very pretty from here on out, because there's going to be a lot of blood shedded. And not to mention Marleyans and some of the Eldians who believe the Eldians on the Paradise Island are the enemy, is that they don't know that Eren and his comrades have infiltrated the Marleyan household or headquarters already, and is about to cause some major trouble. So we might get some action possibly happening 2018, because I'm pretty sure next chapter or possibly 2 chapters, because apparently we have to it that there's an announcement that they'll be holding a 100-to-1 special exhibition to celebrate it, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure like in chapter 100 next month we'll begin the crazy battling massacre, that's for sure. Don't know. So until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Peace out. Bye bye. Toot-toot-toot.